Hello everyone and welcome to our very first podcast video and our very first episode of a series we will like to call Have and Have Not, the show where we read books recommended by each other and talk about it. I'm Roni.
And I'm Rory.
And I have read Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas.
And I have not read Throne of Glass until now.
So Rory is going to try to explain the plot to me, having freshly read it, and then we'll discuss our thoughts.
That's right, and since it's Thirsty Thursday, naturally we have thematically appropriate drinks. What are we drinking today, Roni?
I didn't look at it yet. It's like, you just handed me alcohol and I said, let's do it. Apparently it is Brooklyn brand winter IPA. I've never had an IPA, especially a red one.
It's an IPA, bro. It's not an IPA. That's not what that means. I felt they were appropriate. I feel like Selena, whatever.
There's your first issue.
Selena
Sardothian
would approve. Like, we would do like a fancy drink normally, but she's, garbage.
She's rough.
So, she comes from garbage.
She does not come from garbage. She comes from an extremely traumatic backstory, and I feel like we should get into that right now because you're irking me with this IPA we're sipping and this Selena roughing it coming from...
Okay, fine. So, where to begin? All right, so we get right into it with this book. The main character, Selena Sardothian. Stupidest name ever. I'm sorry.
It is not a stupid name.
So
it's
bad.
A powerful name.
It's almost as bad as Feyre, but like it's okay, whatever. Is serving a prison sentence in the salt mines called Endovier. Is that how you pronounce that?
You got one right.
Okay. When we meet her, we aren't told at the beginning exactly why she's sent to these mines, other than...
Sorry, the
Are you joking?
I'm
You're
not
such
used
a
to the
loser.
taste.
See, Selena would be disappointed in you.
She would be. She'd like, I suffered in the salt mines and you can't even take a beer without cringing.
You can't even drink a beer. She'd be so upset. So we aren't told exactly why she's sent to these mines at the beginning, other than because she's a famous assassin, which, okay, oxymoron. If you're a famous assassin,
you're doing something wrong.
You are not good at your job. But anyway, like, I'll ignore it because it's a YA book.
Assassins need to be like farts, silent but deadly.
Yeah. Oh my, that was the stupidest thing you've ever said. So yeah, silent but deadly. Thanks, Roni.
No, but then when someone assassins, you gotta I didn't do it.
Okay, we're just gonna move on. So, she's a famous assassin, which I'll let go because it's a YA novel.
In all fairness, she became famous after she was caught.
Okay, that's fair, but still,
she was, notorious, infamous, but no one knew who she was. So they knew of her, but they didn't know her.
Oh, right. Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes
it a little bit... Would you like to redact your previous?
No, I still wouldn't, but because I don't want to admit that I'm wrong, but I'll listen. Okay,
continue.
So, she's also notable, at this prison because apparently people die really. You're still choking on that.
I'm still choking it down.
Yeah, she's notable because apparently people die really quick. Like, this is like a death camp, basically. Oh, yeah. And she's lasted a year, which is a feat. And she managed to, quote, touch the wall, so she, escaped for a second. Or no, she didn't escape, but she got past the guards, and she almost escaped.
She reached the border.
And those things are, a big deal.
Very big deal.
So it's she's super badass.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The
Keep
captain...
talking. Butter her up some more. I love it.
The captain of the Royal Guard is a man named Kale, also a terrible name. And who brings
When I read it, I was like, it's kale. Like the vegetable.
Well, full disclosure, I did the audiobook for this. So the woman who was reading it, I just assumed, that was the right way to pronounce it.
Well, my friend had to say, also, when you read the names, it's not Chow, which is what I thought it would have...
Chow?
The captain of the Royal Guard, Mr. Chow.
I would have pronounced it Chow. Yeah.
It's kale, Kale, but
she was saying
sexier.
It kale. 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 That's how she was pronouncing it.
Kale.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kale.
She was good, though, but that's how she was pronouncing it. So, the captain of the guard shows up and brings her before the crown prince, whose name is Dorian. Another awful name. She just doesn't do good names in this particular book.
She made her protagonist named Feyre
Honestly, okay, we'll talk about this.
Kind of low.
If we ever do an episode on Akotar, I actually have a thing about the name Feyre. I hated it at first, but I've kind of changed my mind. But we'll talk about that another time.
You get into Selena.
Anyway, we're talking about Selena, who I kept calling Selena. And she's brought before the Crown Prince Dorian, who offers her a deal, which is kind of where the plot gets started.
Oh, yeah.
So he wants her to be his champion. Like, he's basically sponsoring her.
Correct.
For this competition that his father, the king, who of course is a douchebag because all princes have to have bad relationships with their dads.
It's the daddy issue.
Yeah,
trope.
it's the daddy issue. He's a good prince, and his dad is a bad king.
Sarah J. Maas loves the daddy issues.
Well, so do most romance novelists, which we'll get into.
In Crescent City, she has the same thing. It's like, I'm a prince. I'm a bad good boy.
I'm a good bad boy. A good bad boy. But like, yeah, so anyway, the king is holding on this competition where there are 23 champions, right? And after a series of tasks where they're meant to be like gradually eliminated, like Drag Race, after 13 weeks, the remaining final 2 will duel or something to decide who the official winner is. And the winner gets to be the king's official assassin. Again, kind of a conspicuous job, but okay. Did I explain that at all right? You're looking at me so weird.
You said Drag Race, and all I could imagine is the king saying, "Sashay away!
Sashay away!"
To these, like, brutal assassins who are, like, throwing knives at a wall, he's just like, "Sashay away!"
Like, now, Scarface McMeany, sashay away. Like, all these, like... So
That's
anyway,
just that walk away.
It kind of is like Drag Race. I'm serious.
It is.
Or like Chopped, but like with actual chopping people.
Yeah, it's like Chopped, but they say, no, you're not going to use the chopping block. We're going to use the stocks.
We're going to make you fall to your death, but
yeah.
Or we're going to poison you. So, they negotiate with Selena, because obviously she's not like hot on this idea being...
Why would she be?
Yeah, you know, and she likes the idea of freedom, but it's not necessarily guaranteed. So they negotiate with her, and if she wins, which both she and the prince assume she will because
she's a
badass, given her reputation, she'll have to work as the king's assassin for 4 years, and it was originally 6, and she gets him down to 4. Great negotiating skills.
She is such a haggler.
Haggler?
She's such a haggler.
Can you speak words?
You know what? No. Moving on.
It's haggling worthy of Monty Python, and before so she has to work for 4 years before she's freed from her duties, and then she can go, you know, do whatever. But of course, because this is a series, I assume that doesn't work out. But she agrees, and they take her back to the capital, where the king has this glass portion of the castle, which she's not a fan of, which I kind of get. And
where do they call it? Throne of Glass?
I know! Oh, shocker! Guess where the title comes from. So there's a glass part of the castle.
I think the glass is very symbolic.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think it's such a metaphor.
I'm sure you do.
I think it's like fragile, which I don't know. It's just my heart when reading this.
Okay. Alright, that's fine.
Continue.
And a creepy clock tower.
It is a creepy clock tower.
Which they make a really big deal out of.
It's like obsidian, right?
Yeah, like a really big deal out of the clock tower. So you're meant to assume it's important later, which, like, shocker, it's important later. So the clock tower comes up a couple times.
Thank you. Good job. Thank you very much, Sarah J. Maas, for the
amazing. Not since the eyes in Great Gatsby.
I feel like Hansel and Gretel when I reread this. I'm like, here's the breadcrumb. Ah!
Yeah, literally. So because in her past, Selena developed quite the reputation for herself. Oh. The Crown Prince, Dorian, and Chaol tell her she needs to use an alias. In my notes it says alliance. I don't know why, but...
she needs an alliance.
She needs an alliance. No, she needs an alias.
Well, she should get an alliance. She needs one.
But she does, though.
She does.
But
it's not with Lillian.
We're not there yet, Roni. We're
not with Lillian.
We're not there yet. So she has to use this alias because her competitors will know who she is because they know the name Selena Sardothian.
Because she's a badass bitch.
Exactly, and it'll give her an advantage if they don't know who she is because she can like skate by in the competition, like middle like middle of the competition, you know, like get to. You might not be. You'll be in the top 3 in Drag Race just from like your good like runway looks, but not any actual skill. Like that's kind of what she's going for. So her alias, again says Alliance, is Lillian Gordana.
Gordania.
I
like read this. I didn't listen to the audiobook for this one, so I was like, her last name doesn't come up, so I just go, Lillian Gordana.
She said Gordana in the audiobook, so I'm going with it. Gordana. And
little insight to me is if I don't know how to pronounce the last name, my brain will just read the first 2 letters. So her name is Lillian Go in my mind when I read it.
Honestly, fair.
Lily Go.
Lily Go. So
Lily Go.
Lady Lillian Gordana, and she says to everyone that she's like a jewel thief, which they all balk at. They're like, pfft, which kind of bruises her ego a little bit because she doesn't like being.
She's like, I'm freaking Selena Sardathian. I've done so much. I'm more than a jewel thief, but little do they know.
Yeah, so she's kind of pissy about this.
Honestly, she's kind of girl boss about it, though, because she's like, listen, I know my worth, and they don't, and too bad for them, and great for me, haha. I'm gonna show... You can cut me off, whatever.
Yeah, I'm just looking at you like, where are you going with this? No,
I'm just saying, she knows her worth. That's it. Case in point. Move on.
I will say, it was kind of nice because it's a fatal flaw. Like, I like that they give her the classic, you know, hubris slightly. Like, that she wants the attention. And I like that kind of flaw in a character, especially a female character in a YA, where it's not, like, insecurity. That's her flaw.
It's pride, honestly.
It's pride, and she has a reason to feel prideful, so that was actually kind of cool. So I was like, okay, like, that's a good flaw to give your main character other than being, you know, clumsy.
TBH, though, it kind of put me off at the beginning. I was like,
really?
Yeah, but because I just wasn't expecting it. Because I came from reading, like, Court of Thorns and Roses first. So I was like, Feyre wallowing in her own self-pity. She's very... like
morose.
Good word. That's a 5-cent word right there.
Yeah, she's very morose.
She is. She's very in her own head, and we hear that arguably.
She's like Edward Cullen, but not as creepy.
She's very mopey.
Yeah.
So coming from someone who's mopey and doesn't feel like she deserves absolutely anything, especially like a partner who cares about her, cough, tampon. We come to Selena, and I'm like, ooh. Girl boss.
Yeah, that was cool. Like, I got immediately that it was a flaw. But it was like a cool flaw. And usually I don't like that persona in a character all the time, but she pulls it off.
I sense a butt coming.
Yeah. No, she pulls it off.
No, the butt was... But she pulls it off.
Oh, but she pulls it off.
I just said that too late.
Sorry, I did not get that. Clearly I'm dumb. But anyway...
Clearly, the beer has just already gone to my head.
Okay. So, anyway, Selena is struggling because she's out of shape from being beaten and starved in Endovier. So she has to train with Kaol. So, forced proximity over here. She has to train with Kaol. To get ready for the competition.
I heard Can you please elaborate?
We'll elaborate in a second. I will get to that.
Okay.
I will get... No, worry not. Worry not. I will talk about Kaol.
I want to know what you think of Chal.
I will tell you what I think of Chal. So anyway, Chal does warn her, like I said before, that she should stay in the middle, so like not to stand out to the competition, so she can get to the final 2 as like efficiently as possible. And she takes note of a few different other champions, and they all have different sponsors in the court.
Yeah.
And namely, this huge beefy guy named Kane.
A beefy boy.
Yeah, named Kane. A name so obvious, it's almost as bad as Jack Hyde. It's like... Ooh, do you know who the bad guy is? The guy named Kane?
Kane!
Yeah, anyway,
Isn't there like Cain and Abel?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that Kane was the first murderer? Yeah, Ronnie.
I knew he was bad. Listen, I haven't read my Bible verses in for like, how long? 2 years? You know, like...
2 years?
Listen, since I got into college and like went through college, I'm like, reading the Bible before bedtime isn't my prime concern.
Once you get to college, religion just dies. Anyway, so the huge beefy guy named Kane, who's one of her competitors, and a thief named Knox, who she's actually friendly with.
Oh, yeah.
And this other guy whose name escapes me, and I don't care, and he's only one scene of relevance. So he's good with poisons, and he gets knocked out of the competition midway through. So yeah, those are the people that you need to know about.
He was a good guy.
Yeah,
he was good with his poisons.
Yeah, he was good with poison.
He was good with his potions. potions and elixirs, and he got knocked out.
Can I tell you, that's how the woman in the audiobook says it, where when he's talking, when he fails one of the what was that? When he fails the archery competition, because there's an archery competition at one point as, like, one of the tasks, and he, like, almost gets sent home, but one person does worse than him, he says, and she says it like this, I swear, I'm good with poisons. Like, that's how she sounds. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I guess he's snivelly and weird, but alright. So, Cain is really important later, and he's also important to note because he's being sponsored by a character named Duke Parrington. And Duke Parrington is relevant.
Are you getting to that?
Yes, I will get to that, I promise.
Okay.
I didn't leave out any major plot stuff.
I haven't looked at your notes!
Yeah, I know, sorry. So
I'm rolling with it.
Duke Parrington is a noble, obviously, and he's a close advisor to the king. Mm-hmm. So he's important for that reason, and he's sponsoring Cain. So Celaena does try to do as Chaol says, but she's frustrated because she does want the other competitors to be intimidated by her.
They're like, look at the fucking jewel thief.
Yeah, they're like,
she sucks.
Yeah, exactly. They're like not impressed with her at all, and she's thinking in her head, I could smash every one of you in a second.
Not like smash or pass, but like smash as in like put a dent in their head.
Yeah, like Wreck-It Ralph, like full on like
Donkey Kong their cerebrals,
throwing barrels at people. But so she refrains from showing off her true skill, even though that's difficult for her. But she does make allies with that guy Knox, who saves her life after, or no, she saves his life.
Knox,
ha ha ha. But she saves Knox's life during one of the competitions where like Cain cuts his rope with an illegal dagger, and she risks her position in the competition to save him.
Even though there's no sabotage allowed, I love how he just goes and tries to sabotage someone to their death, and no one's like, no one takes him aside and is like, oh, Cain, I think you got the wrong idea here. This is an honorable competition to fight for the assassin position.
This is like the Hunger Games. They don't give a shit. Like, they don't care.
They're like, it's like soft rules. It's like, don't sabotage. Anyway.
Big air quotes. Like, we'll give a fuck. But, like, anyway.
Soft quotes.
Yeah, really, like, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, she saves Knox, so he kind of builds his friendship with her. And both Chaol and Dorian, so this is where things get spicy. So both Chaol and Dorian, remember Dorian's the prince, begin to clearly have feelings for Celaena because it's described she's very beautiful and she knows she's beautiful, which I actually also appreciated. I was like, you know what?
Like, she's not humble. But I'll give you that.
I mean, I'm kind of okay with it, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. I hate that I'm not like other girls. I think I'm ugly. I hate that. I like how Celaena's just like, I'm hot. I'm talented. I could bash your nose in. Be intimidated.
Well, I totally get authors wanting to write hot characters. Like, if you're gonna write about them all day, they might as well be attractive.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I'm
no one's gonna write about me and my hook nose all day.
Stop.
Yeah, Ronnie's over here with her big Hungarian nose. Look how unattractive.
Oh my god, stop. No.
But no, it's, yeah, I agree. But I just like how, usually, because it's in case any of you guys haven't, like, read this book, which, why are you listening to this if you haven't? But it's,
well, I'm explaining
it's written from the third person perspective. So it's not like, I saw Cain sabotage Knox. It's Celaena like went and helped Knox. So it's like it's interesting because we can see the outside perspective, which is that she's beautiful and that she's talented and that she's a death machine. But we also see a bit of her internal monologue, and I like how Sarah J. Maas is able to do these characters from a third person perspective but still give us valuable insight. And one of those valuable insights is, I'm hot.
Yeah, she's a lean, mean, tall, hot, blonde machine.
Fighting machine.
Yeah, so anyway. So the two love interests. So here's where the love triangle comes in. So she spends a lot of time with Chaol because she's training with him. And he, of course, is the sexy captain of the guard because whenever there's an assassin in a story, there has to be like a sexy captain or like of the guard or pirate captain or thief lord or like something like that. It's a thing with assassin novels, and I can tell you. Yeah, so anyway, but and Dorian is the other love interest, and they both begin to have feelings for Celaena, and they show it in different ways. So the prince gives her access to his books in the library.
Books.
It's very, like, Beauty and the Beast.
Listen, the way to my heart is just to give me a cute little library. You know, like, butter me up. Let me crack open that library book. You got me.
I always love how in, like, medieval inspired things like this, they always have libraries. I'm like, where's your printing press, babe? I'm confused about the technological advancements in this world.
Yeah. Oh, it's so nice. And my favorite part about this little love triangle is that each of the guys, they kind of have, like, the inkling that the other one has, like, a schmackering thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of obvious. They're both so obvious about it.
They're smitten.
But the prince, though, it seems like the dynamic is that Dorian doesn't seem like he's taking the flirtation that serious because he's a playboy. Mm-mm. Like, he's a playboy prince.
Also, that's another tick on the trope. The prince trope, you know, the playboy prince.
Yeah, the playboy prince, of course. And Kaol is trying to suppress his feelings because it wouldn't be appropriate.
But they're also really good friends. I don't know if you got into that.
Yeah, that's another thing, is that Kaol... Well, that's the power dynamic that was interesting, because Kaol is not only not investing himself more into this relationship with Celaena because he knows Dorian might be interested in her, and not only are they close friends, but it's like he works for Dorian.
He works for him, and he's his brother. Nepotism? Question mark? Yes! Exclamation point.
You know, so...
Not his real brother.
No, they're like metaphorical brothers. So
like brothers from another mother brothers.
Yeah, because of course they have to
but
be
different fathers.
They have to be best friends. That's how you make the love triangle spicy.
It's so spicy.
They have to be either best friends or literal brothers, like in the Vampire Diaries. So anyway, everyone in the castle thinks that Celaena and the prince are boinking because he has a reputation with women, especially pretty ones like Celaena.
And to everyone else at the court, they think that this is just some like beautiful like Lillian, like Lady Lillian from another another country.
You're just another one.
You're just another beautiful lady visiting the court. So like the only people really knowing what's going on right now in terms of the competition are the people in the competition or sponsoring the competition. It's not like underground, but it's
it's like better let them think this. So it helps her. She doesn't like having that reputation, but it helps with her cover story. Mm-hmm. So she kind of is convinced to go along with it.
I also like how while she's like living here, she also like goes out into public and walks around the castle and is like a foofy dresses.
All the foofy dresses.
All the foofy dresses. I may be able to slaughter someone, but I can also pull off like a ball gown.
Oh my god, I will say, like, I didn't put this in my notes, but I want to bring it up now just because it's like I'm remembering it. I really like that Sarah J. Maas brought up the fact she gets her period back. I'm like, yes! Normalize periods!
Normalize malnutrition!
Yeah, well, because it would be a thing. I feel like in these adventure YA fantasies, you always just forget that people have bodily functions, and she would have a period.
That is one thing Sarah J. Maas does. Good for her.
Yeah, good
it's
for her.
It's a bit creepy in other stories where, like, I can smell your blood. I'm like, okay, that's not too much. But
yeah, like, I mean, that's kind of only in the Omega-verse, so I don't know what you're reading. But...
No, that's in A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Is it?
You just haven't gotten to it yet. It's in, like, the quote, fourth book. It's Frost and Starlight. He's like, oh, you got your courses? These are going to be painful.
Stop.
He's like, you went for a wild ride.
Oh god, we'll have to get to that. That's awful. Anyway, way to turn something like I was trying to be positive into something horrible.
Like, I'm a bloodhound.
I hate you. Anyway.
The IPA is starting. I haven't eaten in a few hours. IPA's getting me.
Oh my god. So anyway, so everybody thinks that Celaena and the prince are boinking, and things start to get even more spicy. Not spicy, like sexual spicy, but spicy. I know the IPA is really... because you guys can't see, she looks like she just swallowed a whole lemon.
Like, I like lemons. That's an insult to lemons. I eat lemons. But
that's what it looks like.
It's
your face like went concave. It looked like you were folding in on yourself. She does not like the bitterness, evidently.
Hopefully your brother can accurately illustrate this face.
Just a concave face. But anyway, so things start to get spicy plot-wise when during the competition, other competitors start to turn up dead. And some even brutally mutilated, like they look like they were being eaten or some other crazy shit.
Head of Elector shit over here.
Yeah, like they were eaten by animals or something, and people were like, what? And one night during a ball, because there's a bunch of balls and she's not invited to any of them, in an effort to investigate some of these perplexing murders, Selena winds up finding a hidden secret passageway, as you do, underneath the castle. Because of course there's a hidden secret passageway.
Of course, and of course they wouldn't vet this room inside and out to make sure, like, a notorious, like, skilled, trained, deadly-ass assassin can't get anywhere else in the castle.
I know, right? Like, they're so concerned about her escaping, and there's just this secret passageway connected to her room. Like, okay.
And then later they're like, I thought that closed up ages ago. Like, no! Just, like, go where you think it is, behind the big tapestry, and maybe you'll find...
like, no, bro, it's still there.
No, there's... Oh my gosh, there's a draft coming from the wall. That makes sense.
That makes total sense.
Rippling tapestry.
Yeah, in the vein of, like, Princess Diaries 2, she finds a secret passageway within the castle. Mm-hmm. Because every old castle has old passageways that the main character must find.
Case in point, in Rain, that's how she communicates with the ghost who's not a ghost and gets him out of the castle.
Yeah, so...
Because she's the protagonist and Selena's the protagonist, so of course there must be mysteries to uncover.
Yeah, so hidden passageway. And it's underneath the castle, and she finds this room that was dedicated to the first king and queen of Alderlin, which is... You gotta stop drinking that if it's gonna make you, like, gag like that. Sorry, I wish you guys, I don't know if you guys heard that, but she made the gaggiest sound I've ever heard. So it was dedicated to the Queen and King of Alderlin, which is the country they're currently in. And the ghost of the dead queen, whose name is Elena, talking to Selena, because
that's so mad when I read that the first time.
Yeah, like, that's not confusing. That's, like, almost as bad as E.L. James naming her main character Anna and having another character Hannah. It's like, okay.
You could have done a bit. You have so many names in this goddamn book. You have very interesting names like Cow, and you got freaking Dorian. You've got, who else you got? Nehemia. Like, you can come up with another name than Elena when your protagonist is Selena.
Yeah. I don't know. I was like, oh, great. So anyway, Elena, because of course that's her name. It gets extra confusing. They talk. So the ghost of Elena reveals that the creepy clock tower, which I mentioned was important, is constantly mentioned in the book. Shocker, is important.
How did you find out it was important? What does it do?
Yeah. Okay. Wow, that was quick. Did not expect that.
I was ready.
So according to Elena, it serves as a portal between their worlds or something like that. Is that it? Because I was a little confused by that. I was like, it's a portal to another dimension, essentially. Or something like that. Or is that a spoiler? Like, do they get more in depth with it later?
We are... I plead the fifth. No, just kidding. Okay, so essentially, we're given little hints. But let me just tell you right now, you don't know jack shit in this series until it's explicitly given to you in black and white. Like,
oh, I see.
We know this clock tower is important, as you said. It's made of, like, this fun obsidian. It's made of all this great stuff. Mm-hmm. We know it acts as, like you said, like a kind of portal. But we won't know how that's relevant to the world or to the story until book 3.
Why do you keep whispering?
I don't know. I feel like it adds a bit of a dramatic effect.
Book 3.
Book 3.
Just in like a cloud. But, so yeah, it serves as a portal to another world. That's all we're really given. Mm-hmm. BTW. It's important.
You also wrote BTW.
Yeah, BTW, because I knew I would forget. It's important to note that in the past, the king outlawed magic and had all the magic people and the fae, because of course, because it's Sarah J. Maas, you have to have fae in it. They were all killed. And it's implied that Selena is secretly magical or something, but that's not been confirmed. That's what I picked up on. Am I crazy?
Elaborate.
Well, like, it says that she feels that, like, I can't remember a direct quote, but there's parts in the book where it feels like she's implying Selena's gonna be revealed to be, like, a secret fae or secretly connected to magic or something. Because why would you make a point of saying magic is outlawed? Whatever. Anyway, that was just what I got.
I mean, you read the end of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know that there's magic happening, but it should not be happening.
Yes, but I think, I don't know, I could be totally wrong. As we get through the book, I just got the feeling that Selena is magic or something. Like, because she's the main character, so she's special somehow. And
because she's a freaking assassin who does her girl boss job killing people.
That's fair. But I also think, because Sarah J. Maas can't help herself. You almost knocked over the beer. Anyway.
Moving it away from the laptop.
Yeah, because Sarah J. Maas can't help herself. I just got the vibe.
Okay.
But then she says that some evil magic thing... Oh, so Elena says that some evil magic thing has come through the portal and is living in the castle, and Selena has to win the competition, which she was going to do anyway, so thanks, Elena. And kill...
You don't know that. She could lose.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you have to win. She's like, yeah, I do. I was going to do that.
Any chance at freedom,
yeah,
I would have had to win either way.
Thank you for telling me that I have more reasons that have nothing to do with me, but anyway.
It's like, no pressure, but now you definitely need to win, not just for your own sake, but for everyone's sake. And she's like, yeah, just keep adding it on. Yeah, thank you.
She's like, yeah, okay, sure.
Anything else you want to add to the list?
Yeah, so she has to kill the evil thing, whatever that means, and do it before more shit comes through the portal and we get, like, Fairy Mageddon or something.
Yeah.
Fairy Mageddon. So this whole time, Selena has been growing close with a visiting princess who I haven't mentioned yet, named Nehemia. She actually comes in earlier in the book, but I had to explain all this other stuff first.
Love Nehemia.
Nehemia's great.
Nehemia's great.
We love girl-on-girl, like, friendship.
I thought you were gonna stop at the girl and girl. I'm like,
honestly, I ship it, but we'll get to that. So princess named Nehemia, and Nehemia is from a different country, and she's there diplomatically. And because there's like tension between the two nations, all the political stuff, man, my eyes like glossed over. So I'm trying my best to like explain it well. But...
Listen, I'm saying the political stuff is important. But the very important political stuff is re-emphasized. So there's a bit of like a little subtle hint to like conflict over here or like discourse over there. But the fact that Nehemia is here being a diplomat on behalf of her country, that is the big thing. It's like, there's real conflict going on here. And as you probably could tell, it's mostly because the king of Ottoman, the king of the Ottoman Empire, he's trying to he's trying to Alexander the Great his way across the continent.
Cool.
And, yeah.
Yes, cool. So, conflict. But I will say it is easier to understand than in ACOTAR. Like in ACOTAR, whenever they talk about like political stuff, I can't follow it. But
no. This
was a little easier to follow. So
it was also her debut novel, mind you that. This was Sarah J. Maas's first published novel, so of course
this was Throne of Glass?
Throne of Glass was her first series. She was actually writing it while she was in college. She was a weird RA, apparently, who was writing novels.
Oh my god.
Welcome to the Sarah J universe. You're not an RA.
No, but
don't try to Sarah J Maas
I was a weird kid in college writing novels. So.
No, you are currently. You're not done college yet, and you're not done writing novels.
We're not going to bring that up.
You know what? My point is, she does a lot more stuff later when she has an established audience that's harder to lose. I'm going to say that.
Fair. So Nehemia is there diplomatically. And Selena, from spending time in Endovir, where there's a lot of slaves from Nehemia's country, learns to speak that language. And so she speaks to Nehemia in Nehemia's language. I forget what it's called.
I'm looking it up right now because
please
the
Google
IPA
it.
Has gotten me.
Please
Folks, the IPA.
Yeah, the IPA's got her. So I don't remember what it's called.
Don't look at my phone. There's probably spoilers.
Okay, I won't look at your phone. I'm going to just keep explaining and then you can...
Eelway!
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 That was an attractive cough. Eelway.
Yeah.
So she speaks Eelway. And so her and Nehemia get close. And Nehemia doesn't know Selena's true identity yet. She still keeps calling her Lillian. She doesn't know what her real name is or who she is. There are also...
He was like, I'm so glad I have one friend who I can trust here. And the person she's trusting, she doesn't even know her real name.
Yeah, doesn't even know her past. Yep, pretty much. Well,
she's like, you're such a nice, kind, caring, sweet, harmless little insect. And Selena's like, rabble, rabble.
Selena's like, I've felt blades pierce flesh, but okay.
She's like, how dare you defame me?
You had somewhere you were going with that, and then you completely
I thought you were just going to continue once I said defame.
Defame. I'm sorry. I didn't pick up her line.
Let's try it again. She's just trying to defame
something. I have no idea what you want me to say. Anyway.
I just wanted you to continue. Just go.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I keep saying anyway, like it's my segue word. Because we keep going off.
Divulge. Anyway, away from Roddy.
Anyway.
Away from her rabble.
So, Nehemia doesn't know her identity, and there's rumors that Nehemia has ties to rebels.
Oh, yeah.
Ilway rebels, and knows something. Oh, and Nehemia knows about these things called word marks, which is like an ancient language, and it keeps turning up near the dead bodies of the champions who continue to show up dead, like one by one. It's really weird.
And like flies.
Yeah, that drop in. And this obviously makes Selena a little worried because she's like, oh, am I going to end up dead soon? And we're like, yeah, probably.
Of course not. She's an antagonist. Come on.
I mean, everybody else is like, probably, but she's not. So,
even she's like, maybe, but we're like, no, there's like 8 more books in this series. She's not gonna die the first one.
Yeah, she's fine. So, and, you know, he's not gonna pull a Game of Thrones on us. Like, I said he, I meant she. Anyway. So, the word marks, and Nehemia won't elaborate on them. She's, like, really weird and cryptic about them.
Who isn't?
Yeah, I mean, everything has to be weird and cryptic.
Elena's like, you gotta save the world. And Selena's like, what does that mean? And she said, do it.
She's like, I gotta go.
Nehemia over here's like, yeah, these crazy word marks, yo. And Selena's like, these what? She's like, oh, look, there's a cool cloud out. Look at the cloud.
I can't say. Like, turns into Batman, hides in the shadows. But this... Okay, so this annoying love triangle between Selena, Kaol, and Dorian continues as Selena, to her credit, doesn't dwell on them very often, and clearly likes them for different reasons. But she seems more attracted to Dorian at first.
Because he's a hottie with a body.
Right, because he has his easy charm, and he visits her late at night for her conversation, which is hilarious. Yeah, I just wanted to visit you to have conversations. But, yeah, okay. And Kaol is not happy with this, and either for Dorian's safety, but it also comes off as like a front, like that's his excuse to not be happy about it, that he's worried about Dorian's safety, but he's clearly jealous.
Another trope from SJM, love her. She's a doll. I might rip on her tropes, but another trope is fragile masculinity.
Oh my God.
Fragile masculinity entails, I have a slight crush on this girl, and you're looking at her too long. How dare you?
Well, that's kind of why I love Rhysand, and I feel like nobody will live up to him.
Rhysand!
He's like the only YA male protagonist I've ever actually enjoyed. I was like, yes, Rhysand, you're the best! But anyway, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that book. We're talking about this book with its stupid love triangle. And Selena ends up sneaking into a masquerade ball.
Masquerade.
Thank you. Masquerade. Masquerade ball for a totally not Christmas.
Yeah.
It's called Yulemas.
You know, paganism.
It's basically Christmas. And dances.
Well, SJM is Jewish, so don't you dare say that.
Doesn't matter that she's Jewish. It does. Her characters are clearly not Jewish.
Listen, one thing I do like about SJM is she has subtle little nods to religion, but Judaic religion, because you'll see later when like characters pass away, they'll place stones at the graves instead of like flowers, because flowers die, and you don't want to put something that's dead over a grave with someone who's dead underneath, so you put something that's lasting. But there's a few other little references. But it's Yolnitz, because she's not Catholic. Or Christian.
Okay. No, that's interesting. That's actually interesting, but it was just funny.
Fun facts with Ronnie.
Because it's basically like the same. But
yeah.
No! it feels the same, but it's not. So she goes to this ball and she dances with the prince all night, but she shares a moment with Kaol. And she starts dancing with the prince because Kaol refuses to dance with her after she offers. So it like opens up. Dorian's like, I'm shooting my shot. She's free. And he follows her to her room afterwards. Yeah. And because it's a YA, they just kiss. And she goes out on her balcony after the ball, and Kaol is creepily, in true Edward Cullen fashion, silently watching from the shadows of the garden below, and knows she's thinking about his best friend. And it's I think
he can read minds.
I think it's supposed to be a nod to Romeo and Juliet, but even Shakespeare knew it was weird when he wrote it, so it was a little weird.
There's a crazy age gap in this one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I'll take those gains when I can. You win some, you lose some.
I mean, yeah, but... So, Oh, BTW. Dorian gives her a puppy for Yule Miss, which she ends up naming Fleetfoot. Terrible name.
Listen. Also, you missed something.
What did I miss?
You missed the Yule Miss, like the giving of the she got something at Yule Miss. Do you remember that?
Oh, the bracelet or the...
She got like an arrow, a golden arrow.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you forgot about that.
Oh, shut up. Yeah, I forgot. I'm sorry. I forgot the golden arrow.
Yeah.
But...
It's not important. It's just a golden arrow. It's really pretty.
Yeah, it's just a golden arrow. But
it's a golden arrow.
So yeah, she gets this golden arrow, and also Kale gives her like a souvenir from the ball. It's like a ring or something.
He gives her a ring.
Yeah, it's something like that. And so
a little
she gets
token of his. It's like the equivalent of like a handkerchief or something.
Yeah.
He's like, here's my token.
Which honestly further reinforces to me, and I'll talk about this more later when we are done with the plot, but it further reinforces to me that I think we're supposed to ship her with Kale because the puppy's like ostentatious because he's the prince and Kale's giving her something really simple and meaningful.
But it's a dog.
I
love dogs.
I understand that.
Listen, if someone gave me a dog or a ring, unless it's a wedding ring, I'm going with the dog.
I understand. I just mean symbolically. I don't know if I'm reading too much into it. But...
She needed a companion. She got a Fleetfoot.
But that's what it felt like. So Fleetfoot, awful name. But
no, it's not. I'm naming my first child that.
Aww, get to go to little Fleetfoot's baby.
Fleetfoot child.
Yeah, little Fleetfoot baby's birthday. So there's a woman who's been kind of in the background this whole time who is so annoying, but she's relevant to the story, so I have to talk about her. And she's been here this whole time, but they go progressively back to her. She's like the evil stepsister, basically, equivalent in this story.
Incorrect.
That's what she feels like. Her name's... Okay, so we'll talk about it. But her name
You know how to pronounce her name, right?
It's Lady Caltaine.
Caltaine.
Right? Caltaine Rompier. Who is promised... Or flirting with...
It's like a loose promising, because he's like you said, he's nobility, he's a duke, he's powerful, he's a man, he's got a third leg, whatever. Like,
yeah. Whatever.
She's like...
But he's old.
Yeah.
Duke
so
Parrington.
she's like kind of like loosely entangled with him.
Yeah, so she's kind of using Duke Parrington. But she's really just interested in Dorian like everybody else is, because we have to have a pathetic, bitchy woman who wants
It's like a love triangle, and then she's trying to make it like a love triangle with like a little line out to her, like a constellation, but it's not working.
Yeah, so it's like that. She's kind of delusional, and she's using the Duke to get closer to Dorian, and she has it out for Selena, obviously, because everybody thinks Selena has a thing with the prince, which ends up being true because she does.
I mean, he gave her a dog.
Yeah,
so they're basically U-Haul lesbians at this point.
Yeah, I mean, come on, it's a dog.
You get a dog.
They're raising it together.
She lives in your house.
Yeah, come on.
You visit her
all the time,
oh
and now she's working for your dad.
No, your daddy.
Or she will anyway. Spoiler alert. But
no, how dare you?
But so just assume this whole time, Selena has been gradually revealing to Kale and Dorian bits about her past, like how her parents died when she was 8, and she was brought up to be an assassin by this guy named Arobin Hamill, who.
Let me just say real quick. Fuck him! My god, I fucking hate this guy. He's described as having red hair. I cannot. He's an evil...
like Thomas Jefferson.
I hate him. He is Thomas Jefferson.
So he's annoying and he whistles and has red hair and did bad things?
You got the nail right on the head. From now
oh my
god! We're gonna call him TJ from now on. Anyway,
Arobin.
Listen. You don't... Okay. So, a lot of Arobin and his personality is revealed in the novella. The novella is a series of 4 mini books, and I recommend that anyone listening to this podcast reads it after Heir of Fire and before Queen of Shadows, because that's when Arobin starts to become a main player again. So, we learn a lot more about his motivation, his past, and how much of a he is. Listen, he's the equivalent of my face when I drink an IPA. Like, it's bad. Like he is an IPA to me. But I oh my gosh, you'll see more about him in like The Assassin's Blade, which is the novella. But
I look forward to it. He sounds awful. Yeah. So he's a bad guy, and also that she had a past love interest named Sam who's dead now, and it's sort of implied that Sam and her were caught together or something like that, or that he was involved in whatever got her thrown in prison and died or something like that. And I don't know. She hasn't fully revealed that yet. You look like you're gonna cry, so I'm sure it's bad. But we'll get to that later.
She won't fully reveal it until the novella.
Okay. I mean, it's fine. He's dead, so I don't really care about him.
Don't you dare.
I'm sorry. I don't know him. I don't know this man.
I love him.
Okay, I believe you. I don't know this man. I'm sure he was a nice guy.
He was a great guy.
Being an assassin and all. He did great things, obviously.
No, he was oh, yeah.
Okay. We're getting a little heated, so...
No, that wasn't like a seductive, oh yeah.
That's what it sounded like,
No.
Don't gaslight us right now.
I'm not gaslighting, I'm clarifying. He was an oh yeah. Like an oh yeah, good guy.
Okay, again, you're not making this better for yourself. I think we should just move on.
Moving on.
So one night she eventually comes across Cain, surprise, surprise, summoning essentially a demon, and realizes he's the one who's been killing the other champions. And Cain locks her down in the secret passageway a la Chamber of Secrets.
Yes.
And she finds a special magic sword a la the Black Cauldron in a tomb and kills it after it bites her with the poisonous bite a la the basilisk. And Nehemia finds her and cures her with word magic. And then Selena tells her the truth about her identity, and Nehemia's kind of upset about this at first, but then she kind of gets over it.
Then she's like, trauma bonding. I just saved your life. You told me a big secret. Now you like are my bestie.
Right.
You have to be my bestie at this point. No choices.
I thought that was done really well, actually, that scene, because it was reasonable. Like, it was like, well, you lied to me and I'm kind of upset, but
I can see why.
Yeah, you had a reason to lie. You didn't know me when you first met me, so...
I definitely like how aware SJM comes across when there's, like, conflict like that, because...
Right.
Like, especially because I'm reading, like, Bridgerton, too. There's a lot of, like, I'm thinking about me and only me, but I really like how her characters are more than just, like, these... Like... Sorry, I'm about to burp. Sorry.
Hot.
Just for reference, everyone, I finished my first IPA. So that's where I'm at. The belching phase. No, but I really, really, really like how SJM adds a bit of awareness to her characters. And I feel like, spoiler alert, we're two very rational people. Maybe rational to a fault. So I really like when I can see that, because I really hate yelling at the pages of a book when people are being stubborn.
I know, when you're like, this is such unnecessary...
So stupid.
I mean, sometimes
I get it.
Sarah will do that where she'll have something where you're like rolling your eyes, you're like, okay, whatever. But for the most part, her
lying
conflict...
for her protection because the King of Otterland demanded that he did so, and like, bear in mind Nehemia's here on like a negotiations. Of course she knows like the extent of his threat. So like, as soon as she hears that part, she's like, oh, okay, cool.
So the conflicts feel like reasonable conversations.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, okay, this feels like a real conversation somebody would be having with someone if this happened to them, you know? It doesn't come off overly dramatic. And there's plenty of dramatic things that happen, you know, without you needing to be annoying like that.
And another thing I will say is that scene, I remember liking it, like when I read it, because I was like, okay, they talk a lot of smack, but let me see her skills.
Right.
And they really do show you that she has quite a way with that sword.
Okay, can I just say, though, I hate fight scenes.
I know you hate fight scenes.
I hate fight scenes. They're so boring for me.
Listen, but at least she...
I read them. I sat through
obviously, I know you read them, but like... I can understand that, but I also, like, I feel like I'm going to war. Like, I want to go to war! I want a lightsaber! Like, when I read those kinds of, like, scenes, especially when Selena does it, because I love how she fights. I love her, like, tenacity. I love her strength. I love her power. I love her cunning. She's definitely a Slytherin, let me just say that. She's a Slytherin. But I really like how they do her fight scenes, and I thought, for the first time, really, like, in conflict, I thought that was a really good scene.
Yeah, I agree. I understand why they're necessary. I'm not sitting here saying I think you should eliminate all fight scenes, because you can't obviously say in a book, and then they fought and it was awesome, bye. Like,
they also can't say she's a country known assassin, and then all she does is like walk around all
throw
day
a sword
and
at someone
pick
and it's
daisies. She shoots an arrow at a target.
Yeah.
Great, she's a good assassin, but she kills a demon that was summoned from whatever equivalent of hell.
I get why it's necessary, but for me it's so boring, because I don't care about... I'm not an action person, and I don't really care, so I know it's gonna... I just want to know how it ends. I'm like, okay, does she get injured? Does she win? What's the deal? Personally, I just hate fight scenes, but I understand why they're necessary.
I'm gonna add a quick little break because Roni gotta go to the urination station.
Pause. We'll be back.
We'll be back after this. It's not gonna seem like anything to you, but to us, it might be like 5 minutes. Bye.
And we're back. Okay, so Roni used the urination station.
Followed by Rory.
Yes, and now we're back to finish, and she got herself a new drink that's a little more her speed.
I definitely did.
I'm
a bit of a wussy, so I got a Sweet Baby Jesus chocolate peanut butter porter.
Sweet.
Oh yeah, better be sweet.
So let's get this party going.
Rock and rolling.
Let's rock and roll.
Oh,
continue.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so if you guys enjoyed that,
if you're not 21, please don't join us. But if you are 21, feel free. If you're under 21, I don't know, like a regular root beer or something.
It is Thirsty Thursday after all.
Pretend.
Just get yourself a beverage of any kind.
Non-alcoholic. We're not condoning underage drinking.
No, we're definitely
wink,
not. We're definitely not. So, so once she figures all this out. We left off with her telling Nehemia, you didn't like that one either. She took a sip, gagged immediately. Didn't like the peanut butter porter either.
I wasn't expecting it.
Let me take a sip because I haven't opened mine yet because I haven't finished my first drink.
No, here I am. I drank a full thing, a full whatever.
Oh, that's terrible. I hated that.
I feel like Ace Ventura. I feel like
I hated that. There's hard cider upstairs for you.
You know what? If we finish and Mama.
That's a little bit more
Continue.
your wheelhouse. So
my wheelhouse?
I said wheelhouse, babe.
Okay, I don't care if I have headphones on. I'm still deaf.
Yes, Roni has ear issues. So
I'm hard of hearing legally.
That's why this is good for her. But apparently she still can't fucking hear.
No.
So all this happens, and she assumes that the beast that Cain summoned, so the demon fucking thing that Cain summoned, was the evil creature thing that the dead ghost Queen Elena was talking about.
Spoiler alert, it's not.
Spoiler alert, it's not, but she assumes that's what she was talking about.
The red herring.
I mean, spoiler alert, it's not in that. You'll find out in the next book that it's not. Because in this book, they don't.
We just know that
assume that that's
well, we know that the demon isn't the root of all evil. Because obviously later, what happens, happens. That's what I mean.
Well, the portal's still open, babe. So.
Yeah, babes, but the demon isn't the bad thing.
Yeah, but she thinks it is because Selena's like, oh, cool, I
naive.
killed it, we're good, I'm gonna win the competition, and that's all I have left to do is win this competition so I don't have to go back to the salt mines and die.
Ideal.
Oh, she also warns Nox, the other competitor that we mentioned before, who she saved, that he should straight up just run away and escape.
She's like, dude, I'm looking out for you. You suck. You gotta get out of here now.
Yeah, literally. She's like, please escape this crazy shit that's going on.
You're not doing well.
You have no chance of winning. Even if you did, you'd face off against me and I would kill you. So, like, you're done. Leave. And he's like, Roger, cool. So he does. He's
like, I got the memo. Wonk, wonk.
Yeah, so he escapes. He just straight up pisses off, and nobody cares because...
And now he's free.
All these people are dying. Nobody cares at this point. Everybody knows who the end competitors
are. Run for your life!
And so eventually we get to basically the end of the competition, and she ends up facing off against Cain. Surprise, surprise. But Lady Caltaine and Duke Parrington come up with this plan to drug her.
Wait, can we go back? Wait, did we talk about the arrow scene?
No.
Can we talk about the arrow scene before we go into this?
Why not you talk about the arrow scene?
The arrow scene?
I don't remember.
Listen, I vividly remember listening to this for the first time because I was having the worst car ride of my life. It was absolutely atrocious. I was coming back up to New York from Delaware, and it was atrocious. Anyway, I remember it vividly because it was the only thing keeping me sane and driving into the median. But so Selena is in this competition, and it's I think it's about midway through. And we already mentioned there's still Nox there with the poison, and there's all these other guys there. Cain obviously does really well on the arrows. A few other people do well, and Kale's on the side grumbling. He's like, rah, 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 rah. Do bad. Rah, 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 rah. He's like,
you're not listening to me.
You already said this. Kale's full intention is for her to skirt by just barely, and then for them to be whoa, whoa, whoa. how'd you get here? Like, as she goes into the final duel. Which is a good idea if you want to keep a low profile.
Like, a la Darien Lake Drag Race Season 6.
But for Selena, she said, I'm not keeping a low profile for this one. No way, Jose. Clearly not, Kale.
Kale? Let's just call her
Kale. But, so she goes out there, and she shoots, like, a bullseye. No biggie. Mm-hmm. And then doesn't she shoot, like, another arrow through the arrow on the bullseye point or something? Like
Robin Hood?
Like, I feel like she does something very similar to that, because I just remember...
No, there's 3 different targets.
Uh-huh. Oh,
and
yeah.
she hits all 3 of them straight in the bullseye, and she beats Kane, who almost gets the bullseye on the last target that's, like, really far away.
And so she just came in first in this competition, and previously she'd been, like, middle of the pack, whatever.
Yeah. Everyone's, like, jaws open.
They're like, this jewel thief knows how to hold an arrow. Mm-hmm. And then I really like this one, though, because it like, her fatal flaw is that she's very prideful.
Mm-hmm. Hubris, babes. Hubris.
Yes. Love it. We love...
For those of you who took 9th grade English.
We love a self-aware queen. We love her. But I really liked it because it was just like, she's saying F you to Kale. I feel like that was also, like, a kind of representation of their relationship. Like, he recommends, like, you should do this. And she's like, ha! And then he's like,
I'm gonna do it anyway.
And he's like, how dare you do it? And that's one thing about Kale.
Mm-hmm.
It's a trend. Like, you'll notice looking back to the beginning, he'll, like, advise her not to do something, and then she does it, and he's like,
he's like sulks in the corner.
Rabble, rabble, rabble. Rabble, rada, rada, rada. But, that's a really cool theme that shows up, and it happens subtly, and then it happens in this, and you're like, okay, and then... people were overlooking it, they were watching it, obviously, and it was a really nice scene, and then I think it was immediately followed by the poison one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's I glossed over it because all the trials, like, not all of them are super important, but...
But the thing is, they come into relevance later.
Do they?
Oh, yeah, they, like, refer back to it.
Oh, okay.
But, like, it's not like they, like, in later books they explicitly mention, like, oh my gosh, her shooting the furthest arrow is, like, of the utmost importance. Or, like, oh my gosh, poison. But, like...
But yeah, that happens. She does the arrow thing, and then later with the poison, it's like you have to put poisons in the right order, and then drink the one you think is...
It was very reminiscent of, like, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
It was very... Yeah, it was like that.
Yeah.
But, and then she... Because... Not of Nox, it was the other guy whose name escapes me who gets kicked out of the competition. Like,
very early.
Very early.
Love you, but sorry, you
who
suck.
Fails the archery contest.
Yeah.
He helps her out, and she gets the answer right with the poison.
Yeah. And that's really, like, because later I believe poisons are incorporated again, and she kind of remembers that bit of advice.
Oh,
it's not critical, but, like, it's like a skill. Like, you see...
There's so many things going on in this book.
It's okay. It's because a lot of these things you don't realize are relevant until later. And then you're like, oh, wow, Sarah J. Maas just didn't add this in later. She had this
set up and payoff.
Listen, okay. Those of you who've read this book might understand what I'm referring to, but I'm speaking in, like, you know, like, veiled...
Well, yeah, because I haven't finished the series.
Yeah, no. So have other people. But, like, Sarah J. Maas sets up for, like, this huge reveal in, like, the 3rd book in one of the first chapters. And I caught onto it at first just because I was being highly critical, because I really didn't want to like this book because my friend Kush set me onto it, and I was like, I'm going to pick this apart. I'm going to predict everything. And lo and behold, I actually did predict this thing. But she set it up really... inconspicuously. Like, the first chapter was like, boom, slight reference, and I was like, huh, maybe? And then later comes back, it is, but she said... I
have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, because...
I don't remember.
When we find out after the next book, Crown of Midnight, I will tell you, because you'll know what I'm referring to by the end of Crown of Midnight, but we won't have it elaborated until the next one.
Okay.
So we will talk about it then. But... I like how she adds these little things earlier, and that is something that SJM does, which I feel like you don't really appreciate until you either reread or listen to podcasts with nerds like us. Ding! But,
hello!
Hi, that's us. I am Roni.
I'm not going to introduce myself again.
Listen, I drove for like 3 hours today.
Yeah, she's out of it.
I'm very
we have to finish. We have to finish the plot.
Sorry, but
we'll talk more in a second.
Her little chat. She's a badass. That's it. Thank you. End of my little spiel.
TED Talk is over.
That was my TED Talk.
So, anyway, Lady Caltaine, who I mentioned before, is like the bitchy girl who has the thing with Duke Parrington. And remember, Duke Parrington's champion is Cain, and Selena is facing off against Cain. And Caltaine is jealous, and Parrington doesn't want Selena and Dorian to have a thing for separate reasons, which Caltaine sort of suggests to him.
Yeah.
So they come up with this plan to basically drug her before the competition, because she has to drink as part of their, like, ritual. It's a whole thing. So anyway...
And that's where the drugging comes into play. Remember I said how it was slightly important, and then after the fact she gets drugged and she's like, ah!
Yeah, she's like, oh!
Literally, she passes that trial, flying colors, does not get drugged, and then she lets her guard down for a bit, and she's like,
and
I
she
was
gets drugged by the same poison.
By the same poison. So then that was a big moment of reflection.
Yeah.
Another thing, Roni on her soapbox, I like how SGM incorporates learning into her thing. She doesn't have her characters make the same fatal flaw each time.
Yeah, there's growth, you know? Because sometimes people just, like, flanderize their characters, and I don't get that vibe.
No, definitely not. But that was the relevance.
So, yeah, so she gets drugged. She gets roofied. And, then... Nehemia rescues her by using weird magic, which I had to look up.
Word
magic, which I had to look up because it was confusing me when I was reading it. And
it's supposed to be confusing. Why'd you look it up?
I just looked up what it was.
Word magic?
Yeah, I just was like, what
it's
are
like
they
making the signs of the words, the word keys, like...
Oh, yeah, that's what it said kind of on the wiki. I swear, I didn't see anything else.
I'm about to pummel her, guys.
I just looked up, like, the synopsis of the first book after I read it, just to see if they were, like, gonna explain what that was. And I was like, okay, cool.
It's kind of supposed to be veiled in shadows, because remember, like...
It didn't say anything.
Nehemia's, like, trying to teach her at this point.
It literally didn't say anything other than what you just said. So, don't worry. I swear, I'm not spoiling it for myself. I just needed I was getting confused, because, remember, I wasn't reading this on the page. I was listening to it. And she kept saying word, and I was like, what? I was like, what are you talking about?
W-Y-R-D. Word.
Yeah, like, if I'd seen it, like... spelt like that.
Okay.
It would have made more sense.
Okay, I give you a pass.
So anyway, Nehemia uses her word magic, and she summons the dead Queen Elena, who takes the poison out of her system. She Deus Ex Machinas Elena. It's great. And then Selena finishes the fight with Cain, and Cain doesn't take this well, and tries to kill Selena after she wins, and then Chaol, being, you know, like white knighting over here, ends up killing Cain first.
Well, because he was about to strike her while she was down, which is kind of like, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a bit of an asshole move.
Yeah, it's very unsportsmanlike.
Very. He lost fair and square.
Yeah, you lose. Good day, sir.
And he's like, let me try again, when she's not prepared.
Never mind.
While she's reeling from the fact that she was just roofied by my sponsor, you know.
Spoiler alert, the guy who summons demons is also a bad guy. Like,
what?
He's not trustworthy, turns out.
What?
So, Selena gets to be the king's champion, and she breaks up with Dorian, because they kind of, by the end of the book, sort of established they're like a thing, but not really. But she full on breaks up with him, like, we're never gonna be a thing.
It was a loose thing.
Yeah, it was a loose thing.
She makes it very clear that they never crossed any, like, physical boundaries.
They just kissed a couple times.
Yeah.
But he's, like, full on saying, like, to himself in his head that he's, like, in love with her, and I'm like, okay, well, alright.
Remind me, because does it ever switch to his perspective, or no? It's just Selena's perspective. Okay.
When he's talking to the king, because the king's like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna keep her, and Dorian's like, bro, what? And the king eventually...
Because there's more of his perspective in the next book, I suppose.
Okay, cool. So she breaks up with Dorian, full on breaks it off.
Yeah.
But
there's still the tension.
Yeah, the tension.
We can't go anywhere without the tension.
Yeah, of course. We have to have the tension. She has to have a beefcake in her, like,
oh, I didn't like that.
And she leaves off, the book leaves off with her basically signing the assassin's contract with the king. And hints that there is something more going on between her and Chaol now that she's no longer attached to Dorian. And the king tells Selena that he'll start killing people she cares about. Like, you know, as you do, threats.
Yeah, just, outright threats. Forget the veiled stuff.
Yeah, like, full-on threats.
Yeah,
like, says to her face, I will murder Chaol, I will kill Nehemia,
And I will destroy Eelway and everyone you care about.
If you run away and don't fulfill the 4 years of the contract.
Which honestly, okay, let me just soapbox again. Sorry, guys. I think that the fact that he's able to say, I'm threatening you with deaths is so much, considering how she came out of Endovier with no one. Like, she came out, like, sure, she was, like, nice to the people who she was in the salt mines with. She developed a relationship with the people from Eelway. She spoke their common tongue. But the fact that now she's let people in enough to have the king use them as leverage, that is growth right there, too.
Yeah.
Good job, girl.
I agree.
You always want to be, like, secure enough to be threatened with death.
Yes, exactly. We love that. Being threatened, it's growth. It's how you know you've grown, when you're being threatened with your life and the lives of others.
I care. She went from being the stone heart. Well,
it is kind of a role reversal, isn't it? That it goes from, like, her agreeing to this deal to save herself.
Her own skin.
Yeah, like, to save herself, to agreeing to this deal to save the lives of others.
Literally.
Growth. Which is kind of cool. Like, that's a cool role reversal. And I liked that. And so these are kind of my notes to discuss. So this is like, I guess we'll spend like a few minutes just...
Oh, we can spend the time you want, babe.
You know, talking. Well, I want to be kind to poor Lou, who has to edit this.
That's our lovely graphics designer.
Yeah, for you, those of you listening on YouTube and enjoying the visuals that my brother is providing with his illustrations.
I do not look like Elton John.
But
I do have bangs, but I do not look like Elton John.
I want to be kind to his poor hands. So we've already gone on very long with this synopsis. So
I think it's great.
Yeah, I also think it's great, but still. So in terms of notes on the book, I will say, like you, I didn't go into this wanting to like it.
Yeah.
Because first of all, you know what's weird is it made me appreciate... We're not going to talk too much about A Court of Thorns and Roses.
You have to.
But you kind of have to if you've read other things by her to, like, compare her work. In a weird way, I liked this more and also not as much. Because A Court of Thorns and Roses to me felt, as much as the first 3 books are a YA, it felt more grown up, which in some ways I liked better because I think I've outgrown this level of YA to some extent.
It was hard to read because it's
You get what I'm trying to say?
There are intense moments in this book, like, but it is very much in that YA
It's very
age
teenagery.
Category.
Yeah.
Like my friend Kush, she was reading it as it was released, and she was in high school, and I would not recommend A Court of Thorns and Roses for high schoolers.
No, it's way too grown up.
No, but it's definitely, like, I'm reading... So, like, not a spoiler alert, because this is also going to be released on, like, the same day, but I'm reading Percy Jackson and The Lightning Thief, and for me, it's very... I'll go into why I didn't read it sooner, but it's very young for me.
Yeah, it's kiddish.
But it's kind of hard to read more of it at once because of the age, and I'm used to, like, reading... like more mature stuff, but Sarah J. Maas has the YA series, which is this one. She has the New Age adult, which is A Court of Thorns and Roses, and she has the adult, which is Crescent City. And I get what you mean, it's difficult.
Yeah. You know, it doesn't mean I didn't like it. I think the plot of this was better.
I actually gave the first book to my cousin because I was like, you gotta read this. And she's right at that age where she's gonna appreciate it a lot more than I did.
She would like it. You know, like, I just feel like... In some ways, I liked ACOTAR better.
I was like, where's the sexual tension?
But yeah, literally, I was like, oh my god, because we're gonna do hopefully like a very special episode on ACOTAR because we both read it, so it's not like a have and have not situation. Yeah. But yeah, like there was a lot of like I was buying the romance in those books, and with this, which I'll talk about in a second,
it's puppy love.
Yeah, like this is a segue. But again, I liked this plot better. Like, I liked this book for the adventure better. But I just think it was a little YA for me, which is fine.
So, question. I told you going into this, for those of you who don't know, which you probably don't, Rory's big into fairy tales. She loves renditions of fairy tales, and I told her it's kind of like a take on Cinderella. How do you agree? Do you agree or do you not agree with that?
I kind of, I could see it. I mean, with the clock tower and, like, they always talk about the hour. Like, she always brings up in the clock tower did this hour. Yeah. You know, and it's like a effed up version of Cinderella, you know? But I don't know if she's gonna end up with the prince. But yeah, I think it kind of is. It's very loose though. Like it's not like Bridgerton book 3 where it's basically you know just a rendition of Cinderella. It's like a very loose.
It's very
inspired by Cinderella. You know, but yeah, I think
curious.
So segueing though, because we were talking about like the puppy love thing, I was not into this love triangle.
No,
I'm so not into it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for those of you who love whoever. I haven't gotten far enough in this series to know who I should ship. Who is the appropriate ship. You know, like for this series of I don't know. But I wasn't digging it because so I have here in my notes like discussing the different love interests. So the first one is Dorian.
Okay.
Who's the prince.
He is?
Yes! I know, I've been saying it for the past, like, what, hour? And Dorian does come to the idea that he loves Selena, like, pretty quick. He gives me, if you've read ACOTAR, he gives me big, like, Tamlin vibes. Like, he's, like, the red herring love interest. Like, she's into him because he's hot, and she should be into him because he's a prince. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. You're giving me a weird look, but I don't know.
No, I agree, but I also don't agree.
Yeah.
It's like a weird... I can't really say much because I want you to read
it. Yeah, you don't want to spoil it.
I don't, but I get what you mean. He's very attracted to her. He likes her. He's giving that puppy dog, like, puppy love vibes. Mm-hmm. But it's... No, I get it.
Well, I just know Sarah J. Maas has, like, a thing for the other guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
so you think the other guy is Kale?
Yeah. I think because he's like, you know, the emotionally detached one slinking in the shadows, loving her from afar with no confidence.
I mean, he gave her a ring. That's pretty upfront if you ask me.
I think what it'll be is, this is my prediction. You don't have to say anything. We'll see. Okay. You guys can call me out. Just don't spoil it. But when we get through the books, my prediction is that she's going to pull like a Tamlin situation and she's going to be with Dorian at some point and then realize that she and Dorian have nothing in common other than that they're attracted to each other, and then she's going to realize that her and Kale are like a better match. That's just what I think. That's one prediction. The other prediction is Kale just F's off, but like whatever. But it seems like Dorian's the red herring frontrunner love interest. That's what it feels like.
And just so you guys know, I'm controlling my facial expressions.
Yeah,
I'm not engaging. I'm staring intently.
You look so strange.
I'm just staring at the wall. I'm purposefully not making any like things.
She's like not blinking. Jeez.
I can't say anything.
Yeah, and like I said before, so that's my thing. And I also just hate love triangles.
I know you do.
I despise them, and I don't mean it like the way other people do, where I think having a love triangle. Having a lung triangle. Having a lung. I don't think having a love triangle is inherently bad.
Yeah.
Like I think it works in ACOTAR. Actually, I think that the Tamlin, Feyre, Rhysand love triangle, just as an example, I think that works. For me, personally, like, I don't think having a love triangle is inherently bad. Weirdly enough, and everybody's going to roll their eyes at this, but I don't hate the Edward, Jacob, Bella love triangle in Twilight either. Like, I think it's fine. But
I think I like more that the two guy interests hate each other.
Yeah.
Because there's tension, but these guys are like brothers, so you can't really hate anyone in it because they're it's like a weird family that they've created.
Yeah. It's like in Vampire
we're both
Diaries.
attracted to you. Mm-hmm. But we're not making a move. But we are making moves, but we're not.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just wasn't into it because I just hate love triangles. Ooh, I just almost burped.
I've been there. Listen. She's about halfway done her IPA. I'm about halfway done my second. So catch up, bitch.
I'm trying. I'm sorry. But I don't like this peanut butter chocolate thing you gave me. But I
suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah.
Suck it up, peanut butter cup.
Suck it up, peanut butter cup.
Okay.
So yeah, I wasn't into the love triangle. I gotta say, I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
And I said before, but I'll say again that the overall story of this book is easier to follow, and I thought it was more entertaining than other things that I've read by her. But
agreed.
It is simpler, and it's sort of like, I think, just a personal preference of where you are as a person, of what you're gonna like.
I think the big difference with this one is, and this is talking a bit about ACOTAR too, is that we enter this story with Selena already understanding the world she's in.
That's true.
And a lot of ACOTAR is discovering the world that...
It's the fish out of water thing.
Exactly.
But authors find that easier because then it's like... Well, I feel like when you do a first-person perspective, you almost it's very hard to not do a fish out of water story, because if it's from their perspective, you don't think consciously in your mind, oh, and then there's a tree. A tree is a thing that grows from the ground. You know what I mean?
But I personally find those kinds of like fish out of water stories. I said it wrong. Fish out of water. I was copying you. I say water. I'm from Delaware. But the fish out of water stories. I find them a bit more hard to get into, because
I agree,
because I like learning about things as someone's experienced them. Like Harry Potter is another fish out of water story. It's like you're experiencing Hogwarts as he does. So is Percy Jackson.
I don't hate them if they're done right. I think they're good in Harry Potter and Percy Jackson because they're kids' stories.
And they're done better than in ACOTAR, which is a new age story.
Right. I think they work better in kids' stories because you're expecting things to be explained to kids anyway.
It's also a plot that ropes you in, I think, a bit more than ACOTAR, because a lot of ACOTAR is resolved at the end of the first book.
It feels like a textbook sometimes.
ACOTAR?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, because there's so many like loose threads, because we're wondering like, why is Elena here? Where is the other person? Where's her husband? Like, what's happening? Why are we only seeing her? Why are we only... You didn't mention the door knock, by the way.
The what?
The door knocker.
What?
The sentient door knocker.
I don't remember that.
Oh my god. Read the book.
What? I did! What are you talking about?
There's a door knocker that's sentient on the entrance to Elena's chambers that she talks to.
Oh my god! I literally totally forgot about that.
Like, we don't know why that guy's there protecting this chamber.
I'm so sorry.
We also don't know what's up with that sword. We don't know what's going to happen with the love triangle. There's a lot more up in the air than at the end of ACOTAR. Because at the end of ACOTAR, the only unresolved plots are... what's going to happen to Feyre when she goes back to the Spring Court, and how the heck did that adder get out? Like, or why is Dorian's finger missing? Like, those are the two plot points that... Sorry about the spoiler alert. But you entered this willingly. But those are the only two plot points. But we have so many things, because the Obsidian Tower still isn't mentioned in full. But I'm going to let you continue, because I'm starting to drunk ramble.
But yeah, so the point though is that I think this just felt more straight up YA than almost anything I've read. Yeah. And one of the reasons I went into this not wanting to like it is I freaking hate assassin stories.
You told me that, and you were very mad at me for recommending
this.
I told her to read Throne of Glass, and she's like, what's it about? And I avoided saying about the assassin thing.
Yeah, because I literally despise assassin stories. They're everywhere. I feel like to Sarah J. Maas's credit though, like, when this book came out, she was one of the first people doing it. I think she kind of made it popular.
Let me find the release date.
But if you go to Barnes & Noble right now, the only two plots for YA available are... YA has basically just become young romance. Yeah. Like, it's not even adventure stories anymore, which is so upsetting.
In 2012, so she was ahead of the game in that regard.
She was ahead of the game, because now it's all freaking assassin stories. Like, everyone's a freaking assassin. Or it's... the main girl character, teenager, has like a dark secret, a dark magic, a dark past, is special, and has to go on an adventure with a hot pirate captain of the guard, soldier, sellsword, like some badass thing. Yeah. And I'm kind of sick of it. I wish people would do something else. So I was not looking forward to this, because I'm so sick of assassin stories. And that's kind of what felt so YA to me about this book. But I appreciated that the assassin thing wasn't the whole plot. Like, she wasn't being an assassin the whole plot. You know? So I was like, okay, this is cool. Yeah. Oh, funny... Oh, are you good?
I had 2 hiccups in a row. I apologize.
That was like, you sounded like Minnie Mouse having a stroke. But... just a funny point. I thought Cain from the beginning was the one killing the champions.
Good job.
And then I thought to myself, oh, that's too obvious. And yet somehow Miss Maas managed to do the most predictable yet surprising thing by making him the guy summoning the demons.
I can't say anything.
So I was both really surprised and really not surprised all at the same time.
You'll be even more surprised and not surprised at the same time as the series progresses. Let me just tell you that right now.
Ooh, cool. There's
more to this story.
It's deeper.
Like, this story resolved, but it never resolves.
We've hit the tip of the iceberg, so to speak.
You've hit the tip of the freaking flag on top of the Titanic before it sunk.
Okay, wow.
Sorry about the dark, yeah.
Okay, cool. I just want Lou to animate like the Titanic. Just like cracking in half.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry, Lou. I said that. Okay, so I'm looking at my notes. Sorry, guys. I do think it's funny there's such a thing as a famous assassin. I said that at the beginning. I still think it's funny.
But the thing is, they know her name, not her face.
Yeah, I know.
Which is why she goes by so many, like, pseudonyms.
Yeah, that's true. Which was getting a little annoying after a while. I'm like, okay, pick a name, bitch. Like, stop giving her all these names.
The fact that
because Nehemia renames her, doesn't she? She gives her, like, a name.
Like an honorary name,
yeah. Yeah, a special name. I'm like, fuck, I have to learn another name. Like, all these names, man.
Well, that name's also just special between them. So it's like, the only person who calls her that is Nehemia.
Okay, good, because I can't do it. And I guess the last point I wanted to make, or the last thing I really had to say, is that I actually did like Selena, and it's very hard for me to like YA protagonists, because most of the time I hate them.
Because you're just like a salty bitch.
I am. I'm salty, and I think most of the time they're horrible. Like, I think most of the time they're really boring and stupid, and even as a teenager, when I liked YA and read a lot of YA, I did not like the main characters. And she grew on me. I didn't love her at first because I was like, oh, here we go again with the I'm a badass, like, assassin chick kind of thing who don't need no man, like, kind of stuff. And she kind of is that, but in a way that doesn't make you hate her.
Yeah, I get that.
You know, it feels like she's earned her damage, if that makes any sense.
I also feel like she is such a complex character that you have to warm up to her.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the beginning, I think I told you, when I first started reading this book, I was like, I don't know if I like this main character. But by the end, I could, like, she slowly chipped away, like, not like literally, but like, her character...
Obviously not literally.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to clarify. But like...
She took a pick and chipped through the page.
But no, I feel like a lot of her coldness is definitely revealed, and I feel like you learn more about her, and as she has more of a support system, and more of her friends, and more people that they can hang over her head with, like, she becomes more likable, because you I don't know, you start to like that cold exterior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I had the same sentiment.
You get the sense, for whatever reason... Sorry, I burped. You get the sense
and the booze is hitting us.
I know, I'm sorry.
She's on my level.
You get the sense, for whatever reason, that she has a deeper part to her.
Yeah.
You know, like, that she is only acting this way as a defense mechanism, but she doesn't want to act this way. Does that make sense? Like, it doesn't...
I can't say anything.
I know, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
It just feels like, to me, just from reading the first book, that Selena is a tough person. She's a tough cookie, but she has a soul,
What
you
kind
know?
of cookie do you think she'd be?
What kind of a cookie? Oh my goodness, that's a hard question. Probably like macadamia nut or something.
I was gonna say that.
Oh my god, really? Oh, that's so cool.
She's a macadamia
Just
nut.
like Selena's face.
She's a hard nut to crack.
She's a hard nut to crack. Because then she has, like, you know, layers. She's got more than one
She's
flavor.
An onion.
She's an onion. Ogres have layers.
No, but I'm so glad you said that, because we will find more about that in book 2.
Okay, I'm excited. I think that's all I really had. This was so long.
This is so long. That's what she said, but it was also really good. That's what she said.
I hope you guys had fun listening to us be stupid as fuck to each other. But we had a really good time.
We've been looking forward to this for so long. I really hope you guys enjoyed it.
So be on the lookout for our Sunday special podcasts.
What's it called?
It's called Sinful Sunday, or Sinful Quinful Sunday, as we like to call it.
We are tasked with reading all of the books published by Julia Quinn, also known as the woman who wrote the original series behind the Netflix series Bridgerton, and about like 4 other series.
So we drink cocktails and we talk about Julia Quinn romance novels.
We're softcore alcoholics here.
And next week, we will try to be posting our next Thirsty Thursday. Have and Have Not will be Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief, book 1.
Which I'm still working on.
Yeah, which Roni will have finished by then, hopefully. And
I will. I need to make an outline now.
Yes.
I just had quotes highlighted and I was going to make snarky remarks about it.
Yes. So Sunday will be the Duke and I, and then Thursday will be Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief. So
woohoo!
Look out for that, world!
And we also have an Instagram. I'm going to pull it up real quick because I just made it the other day and I'm still not used to our handles.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram.
It is Rory and Roni. That's all one word, no spaces. RoryandRoni.
Yeah, please support our channel. We would really appreciate it.
We would appreciate it. And please share it if you like Sarah J. Maas or if you like Throne of Glass or anything like that. And we will publish more. So thank you for sticking in this long and have a lovely day.
Bye.
Bye.